Alhamdulillah. What is best when it comes to selecting and choosing my sacrifice? Well, scholars say the best of sacrifice is the healthiest, the fattest, the one that has more meat than the others, the one that looks nice. Abu Umama ibn Sahel says, we used to make our udhiyah fat during Medina, and all the Muslims used to take care of their udhiyah prior to the day of slaughtering and feeding it a lot. Anas ibn Malik, may Allah be pleased with him, said that the Prophet ﷺ used to offer udhiyah with 2 big rams, horned rams, that were white mixed with black. In other narrations, that this ram is white, walking in black, looking in black, meaning that his eyes were, the area around his eyes were black, his hoofs and legs were black, but the whole thing was white. So this means that the Prophet ﷺ used to take and select the best possible sacrifice to Allah Azza wa Jal. Not like what we do when we check online and see where we can send money to countries, to refugee camps, to poor Muslim areas. What is the least to be paid? This is totally wrong and an indication of the reward that you will be getting on the Day of Judgment. Select the best, the most expensive, so that you are sacrificing something to this for the sake of Allah, and you anticipate the reward as well. So can we sacrifice any type of animal? The answer is no. There is a specific age which is the minimum. And this is that all animals must be in the age of musinna. What is the age of musinna, Sheikh? Give me something that I can understand. No problem. The minimum age of camels is 5 years. So 5 years and above is okay. 4 years and 11 months is not okay. This does not suffice. What about from cows? Cows, 2 years and above. So the minimum is 2 years. What about goats? Goats, the minimum is 1 year. Above is okay. Less, it's not okay. What about sheep? Sheep is an exception. Usually, sheep should have been a year old and more. But it is an exception where the Prophet ﷺ said that al-jadha, which is 6 months of age and above. You cannot slaughter or sacrifice something that is below that. And this age is what you recommended to do. It is not permissible to go below it, but it is permissible to go above it, and Allah knows. When you offer sacrifice to Allah Azza wa Jal, you have to be really careful, because whatever you offer represents your iman. So if you offer cheap stuff, then this represents that you have weak iman. You have to select the best, as we've stated that earlier. But the Prophet ﷺ had made 4 defects in an udhiyah that does not make it valid to offer. So one of them, if present in the animal, then you cannot offer it as slaughter. 1, an obvious defect in one eye. So if this animal has an eye that is sunken in its socket, or if it sticks out like a button, or it is white and absolutely defective, you cannot offer this as an udhiyah. 2, if it is obvious sickness in it, so it is always in high fever, it is always not capable of grazing with other animals, doesn't have a good appetite, it cannot manage to be healthy, and you can see that this doesn't work with the udhiyah. The third defect is when it's obviously laming. when it lames, if there is lameness, so Sheikh, we're not going to race with it. Yeah, you're not going to race with it, but it won't be able to cope with other animals in grazing. So this would impact the way it grazes. And when you look at it walking and limping, you would not choose it for your own. So how dare you choose it for Allah Azza wa Jal? And finally, the fourth defect in it, when it's imitation. And this means that it's so skinny, there is no marrow in the bones. And this is something, again, when you look at it, you wouldn't give it to your guests. You wouldn't offer it to your relatives. How dare you offer it to Allah the Almighty? If the ear or the horns or the tail or the buttocks of a sheep does not exist by birth, then this is valid without a problem, inshallah. But if it is introduced to it, so some people come to the ears of their sheep and they cut it with scissors or put holes into it, so in a form or a way to identify it, this is makruh, this is disliked, yet it works, it is possible, except for a sheep that has lost its buttocks, the fat that it has underneath the tail, because this would make it a defect. And people, when they buy a sheep and it doesn't have this part of it, which is an important part, they would not accept it for themselves. Among the rulings of the sheep that is appointed to be for udhiyah, what happens if it were to be stolen? So 3 days before Eid, I bought my sheep, it's in my house, and all of a sudden, somebody broke into the house and stole it and ran away with it. Well, if it was protected and I did not do any form of negligence or transgression, then I do not have to buy another one. This suffices. And this is between me and Allah. Allah knows that I did my level best to protect it and to keep it in a safe place, but somebody broke in and there is nothing on my part. And finally, what happens if I were to buy a sheep that was pregnant and the day of Eid it gave birth to a small sheep, a small lamb? Well, in this case, I have to slaughter both the mother and the lamb, because it takes the same ruling. Both of them are to be sacrificed for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal.
ليشهدوا منافع لهم ويذكروا اسم الله في أيام معلومات على ما رزقهم من بهيمة الأنعام.